Do you know what? Yeah, do you know it's so funny? This is one of the things that I've not enjoyed about quarantine, lockdown, COVID, whatever. First of all, Auntie WhatsApping has reached a new ultimate level. Everybody has. Do you know? Initially, we used to have like messages. Like I used to get messages like, "Do not pick up your phone with your left ear because it causes more brain damage and blah blah blah. When you go on your phone, make sure you use your right ear." I've got WhatsApp random auntie messages, and it ends with like Doctor, I don't know, Namdi in has done this, or a doctor in Bombay. Mumbai. Let me not say Bombay.
Mumbai.
Yeah, Mumbai has done research and they've tried to shut it down. Blah blah blah. That's a regular pre-COVID message.
Have you seen the one with this is cancer, this is a magnet. Look, and I've had enough.
Then comes the COVID one, and people, it's an amazing vehicle for Auntie WhatsApping, because they people have said, don't open your windows tomorrow because they're spraying the air. Other people have said, coronavirus existed before, so why are they telling us it's new? Meanwhile, actually, they're not saying that they try to dumb it down so the whole nation can understand, but this is not the first coronavirus. It's only a particular type. This particular strain, yeah? Cool. People will find any reason to be skeptical, but it's fine. That's absolutely okay. Like, people can believe what they want to believe. What I know for sure is that people are getting sick and people are dying. So whether it came from a bat, a rat, a porcupine, whether it came from the air, the soil, or someone's grandma's house, it is here. And people, like, the only thing that makes me annoyed is when people are like, oh, there's nothing to worry about, everybody do what they want, because actually those have real consequences, and you might as well err on the side of caution. Like, I don't know, but it's just been a bit mad. Then you've got all those WhatsApp voice notes. So my cousin Marvin Abiya did a wicked one, and I cried because it was so hilarious. It's so fun. Everybody knows everybody now. I actually got another one from.
This one was he said, "Oh, my neighbour's cousin is a cleaner at 10 Downing Street."
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Yeah, and I also had the PM talking to the what's it called?
Health Minister, I think, or maybe.
Yeah, and they said that actually they're gonna ask everybody on Thursday to go outside into gardens and clap for an hour, and the clapping will send sound waves into the air that will kill off COVID-19. And obviously, it's a bit hush hush right now. Yeah, I just thought, you people are mad. I heard another one, a person who's trying to be real, and then said, "Oh, I work for the ambulance, and we've just done that." Basically saying that on Thursday, there's going to be more COVID in the air than on other days. So please go and do shopping before Thursday. Like, it's just a bit of a madness.
What's wrong with Thursday? What did Thursday do to anybody?
Friend? I don't know.
Wait, no. Before I heard one that they said that this is before we're actually locked down. They said if people don't stay inside, then they can let the aliens control the streets.
I had that one too.
Control the streets and zap us with their ray guns.
Yeah.
So stay safe, everybody.
To be honest, I'm quite up for that. To be very honest with you, I'm quite up for that.
What, for aliens?
Yeah, but for anybody who really believes in these conspiracy theories, because I really want to know what's going to happen when we don't do what you want us to do. Like, what's actually going to happen to us?
Well, this is the thing for me, though. Obviously, people are getting sick and dying. That's definitely happening.
Yeah, it's very sad.
But I struggle to. First of all, I don't believe anything that the news tells me, because they've been lying.
Anything
just an underlying, like, anything they tell me, I do not believe from the get-go.
Unless I can actually verify that it's actually true, and it obviously is, something's obviously true, I can't believe anything they tell me.
How can you?
Have you watched the news for the past 5 years?
How can you verify it? Yeah.
At one point, I said I don't believe anything but football scores because obviously that happened.
Even football scores, I don't think you can believe those ones too, Lyndon.
No, I can't believe football scores.
No.
Just ask a question. So you want to verify it yourself on the internet, but why do you believe the internet and don't believe the news?
I don't believe. What do you mean I believe the internet?
As in, when you're saying you can verify it for yourself, how are you verifying this information?
Unless I can verify something for myself, like that something is actually happening, I can't believe everything that the news tells me.
You said you don't believe anything.
He's conducting his own experiments in a field.
In your own lab.
To verify, yeah. To verify.
I'm going to say this one more time. I can't believe anything the news tells me because they can easily lie to all of us, as they have done over and over again. Can I ask a question? So wouldn't it be better to disprove or believe first, as long as it doesn't need you to take action, believe and then go and do the try to it's true until it's not. So you can actually go and.
But Lyndon doesn't start from that point. He starts from I don't believe, so you have to convince me.
But then sometimes, Lyndon, the absence of evidence doesn't mean that the thing is not true. So the absence of apparent evidence does not disprove the absence of evidence is not evidence that it doesn't exist. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you just don't have the evidence.
Right.
So isn't it a bit better to believe and then go and if you find some information that is actually says otherwise, and you say, you know what, actually this is new information, I have to disregard the old information of what I've been told, rather than just saying I actually don't believe it until
you conduct yourself with caution and err on what's most likely to be the case. But if someone tells you something else and you find out other information, you can't tell me, oh, but the news told me that, so that's true.
Okay. So I have a question. Can I ask a question? Let me be like Angela. Can I ask a question?
You can.
How can you verify the death toll wherever you're looking? So earlier you were saying I'm looking for the death toll in Jamaica, I'm looking for the death toll in lots of different places. I actually have a code.
Could be lies. Could all be lies.
This is what I'm saying. So actually, I am a good conspiracy theorist believer. I'm happy to believe any good conspiracy theory if I think it makes sense. Aliens don't make sense. Your next door neighbor being the cleaner of 10 Downing Street doesn't make sense.
But
do you know what I mean? Lyndon, we're not having a conversation today. I've prayed to God to ease my hay fever, and he's agreed to do it for this particular podcast, not about aliens.
Aliens is unlikely. It's not.
I believe in aliens. In the Bible, it said that there's other beings on other. It said no. The Bible doesn't say that, does it?
The Bible doesn't.
No, it doesn't. But then in additional writings, yeah, people have they've said that they believe that there are other. God created other planets and other beings on those planets.
That would be the case, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean they're aliens? The other beings.
I mean, what doesn't an alien mean? Alien in the conventional they're bold and blue.
Angela, we're not talking about the conventional. I'm a human being and anything other is an alien. We're not talking about that.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
But if you come from a different planet, you're an alien because you're not from.
Yeah, I thought alien is someone who doesn't believe, who is
alien means
somewhere else. Yeah. That's
why when they call illegal immigration in America, they call them illegal aliens because alien means they don't come from that land. So
that song. What's that song? I'm an alien.
I don't know.
No, that. Sting. Yes. You know that song, Lyndon?
That's it. I like that song.
The big tune. Sing it again, Angela. I'll join in.
Let me get it up so I can.
That's it. Lyndon, you don't know that song? Are you serious?
Do I need to know all songs?
Lyndon?
I don't know it.
I've had enough of Lyndon today. Angela, you speak to him. I was talking about something else. I think I was saying I like a good conspiracy. This hurt in my head. I like a good conspiracy theory as much as anybody else. But this is what I was saying. you know, there is something around the fact that the news is controlling everybody's behavior right now.
Yep.
And so before we were on lockdown, the news was informing people, and you were basically able to decide whether or not you wanted to listen to the news and how you wanted to take that in. So you can listen to it literally on your TV screen. You can choose to have like an app on your phone, or you can choose to go on social media and take that as your news, like whatever. You had a lot of choice, and you could navigate through life making your decisions based on how much or how little you wanted to take the news in. Right now, everything's lock off, and we are in lockdown, and actually the news has now it's dictating our behavior. So when Boris Johnson was on the news maybe 2 weeks ago, and he was saying no one leave their house, we're actually not meant to leave our house. And it's a weird one for me, because I'm thinking, you're now becoming the only source of truth that I choose to listen to. So now it's a weird one, because it's almost like in the war when you had the radio and whatever else, but there was so much propaganda, you're not able to establish what's propaganda and what's truth. Do you see what I mean? So if you're saying that, Lyndon, I understand where you're coming from, and I can agree with you. We are only being told certain things through certain outlets, and people are saying, like, you know, I only read whatever in The Guardian. If it's in The Guardian, I believe it to be true. So whatever The Guardian is publishing about COVID-19, I believe that to be true. What that means is when COVID-19 is over, people are still going to associate that same level of reputation to The Guardian. Whatever they publish, I believe that to be true. And it's the same thing for the news. So I kind of like, it's a weird one for me, because actually I can't take in that much news. I find it extremely depressing. I find it very overwhelming to be given the death toll every hour on the hour and where it is. However, there was one news article that I read that I said, pat, 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 because Miss Afua Hirsch, she's sick. She is a fantastic journalist. And to be honest, I'll support The Guardian just for her, because I feel like the narrative of COVID-19 around the world is one thing here, but Afua just comes in and she's just like, everyone shut up. You're all missing the point. You're all missing like a huge demographic of people who are overlooked. So having said all my stuff about the news, I'm not too sure, I have to listen to the news, because there are still some people who are out there flying the flag for sensible thinking and actually highlighting what's happening in my own community.
All right, and that was
Afua Hirsch, the article I sent you. Well, she was talking about the huge disparity. So she was initially talking, well, two things. Okay, so I'll talk about one thing, and maybe Andrew, you can pick up the second thing. The first thing that she highlighted was that, so there was a video being circulated of these two French doctors talking about COVID-19 in its currently, and they were saying, oh, what we could do is we could go and test this in Africa, because I think they said there's not a lot of deaths, they don't have a lot of PPE, and then they referred that back to when they were doing testing for HIV in Africa with African prostitutes. And so they were suggesting, we've done it before, we can do it again. And so she wrote a whole article piece in response to that, because obviously that began to circulate on social media. And they are two practicing French doctors. It's not as if they're no longer doctors, they are still practicing. And I said, that's absolutely ridiculous. But all that's going to happen is they're going to get a slap on the wrists, and they're going to be said, oh, really sorry, I was taken out of context, we're talking hypothetically, whatever. But actually, Afua wrote an article, and she said, we all need to remember that actually this idea of Africa being a testing ground is nothing new, and we need to acknowledge it, and we need to put processes and plans in place to ensure that this is not the narrative of Africa. It's not like a laboratory that you can just walk into. It's a very colonial mindset. And the fact that these two doctors were having a conversation on TV, I'm sure it was in France, because I didn't think it was in a French-speaking country. I think it was France. She was like, it just shows you how little we've come, that doctors are freely able to have this conversation and basically feel like, yeah, you know, what we should do is go to Africa, test in Africa. Nah, out of control.